Ladies and gentlemen, over the last 8 years, the Gawler Darin Peacock, who assisted us to create our first website, gawlernowandthen.net.au. We acknowledge Darin's passion for towns like Gawler to showcase its photographic history and articles for the world to see. We are thrilled that we now have over 21,000 such photographs and articles on the website template that Darin Peacock created for us to use. The time has come, however, for the website layout to be modernised so that current technology is efficiently embraced, especially when people are using their mobile phones to a much greater extent today than they were 10 years ago. Accordingly, the decision was made by our executive to create a new website to accommodate that need for clarity and simplicity, and a website that we're able to be in complete control of, especially when cyber gremlins invade periodically to cause problems. So the challenge to create the new website was taken up, and I acknowledge the expertise of David Ward, who unfortunately can't be here tonight, Tim Kipling and Raf Stamachi, who took on the role to create GawlerHistory.com. With the assistance of Paul Barnett and Ian MacDonald and the other Gawler History Team members, I believe that the end result truly satisfies the objectives that were set. And you can see the website up on the screen. So, before I ask Mayor Redmond to officially launch GawlerHistory.com, I ask Darin Peacock to address us, and followed by Henry Yinnat and then Raf Stamachi to give us an insight into the technical problems we faced, or they faced. So, first of all, please welcome Darin Peacock, the creator of Now and Then.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome, Brian, and wonderful to be in Gawler again. I love coming to these meetings. This is such an extraordinary group, and I think the Gawler History Team is a fantastic testament to this community, but also to Brian for leading it and driving it to such a fantastic place. I'm not going to talk for very long. I started my involvement with Gawler about 8 years ago when we set up the first wiki website here. The purpose of the wiki website was really to allow this community to create and share its stories in the digital world. And we all know we're all increasingly living more and more in the digital world. We wanted to make sure that the stories of Gawler weren't lost to that world. So what this amazing group of people here have done over 8 years is make sure that Gawler's stories are available around the world in all these digital places that people now inhabit. So it's an incredible achievement. I think you don't appreciate how much has been achieved here and how special this community is and what it's done. So my part was really getting things started. The idea was always that this process of developing a community history wiki was about the community looking after its stories, preserving them and sharing them. And that's what you're doing. And I'm delighted that you're doing it without me now, because it's the kind of thing that really has to be done locally. It has to be your thing, managed by local people, about your stories. And so I really applaud what's happened in the last year. We've transitioned to a new platform. The old platform is 10 years old, which is a lifetime in technology terms. I'm surprised it still works at all. And it does, up to a point. But as Brian says, technology moves on all the time. So it's great to see you moving with the times, but I love the heart of this project, which is really all of you people and your commitment to telling the stories of Gawler. So congratulations to you, and I look forward to watching your next steps.
Thank you very much. I'll now invite Henry, the CEO of the town of Gawler. Welcome, Henry. Give him a hand.
Thank you, Brian. So firstly, I'd like to thank Brian for inviting me along tonight, and my apologies to Brian for not attending too many of these events in the past, but thank you again for having me at this important juncture. The Council has been a passive supporter of the group behind the Gawler History endeavours and the Now and Then site, and the evolution of the newly created history site is a real achievement, and congratulations to everyone that's been involved. And the fact that it has been volunteer-based makes it even more special. Bringing history to the local community and the world via the digital platforms is critical to ensure that history and heritage remains contemporary in everyone's thinking. Increasingly important is the acceptance that history and heritage is a driver of tourism, is a driver of economic development, and is a driver of job creation. And I'm certainly a strong advocate of that, as is the Mayor and Council, and it's for all of us to build on that leverage, on our competitive advantage as a strong history township, and to seek investment in history, in heritage, moving forward. And in terms of that, just by way of taking an opportunity to give a summary of what the Council's been doing over recent years to demonstrate its commitment to history and heritage, I just sort of go through that. Obviously, the Civic Centre is a real example and testament to Council and the community's commitment to history, heritage and restoration. Obviously, the restoration itself, the Heritage Gallery, the research space, the reading room, and these are all ongoing commitments by the Council. The Council's Local Heritage Grant Scheme, the Heritage Wall Restoration Project, the appointment that Council has of an independent heritage advisor, which deals with development, assessment and policy matters, the unsightly property rebate scheme, which has been relatively successful in encouraging property owners who haven't been doing the right thing through the rating system to encourage them to invest in their properties, but there's certainly plenty of work to be done. A new initiative is the Building Finance Upgrade Scheme, so that's a finance mechanism that Council is looking at introducing from the 1st of July 2019, which again is seeking to assist building owners in their investment into heritage buildings. The Williston Cemetery is another significant area of local history, and Council over the last 5 years has had a capital improvement program and and we're sort of actually reaching the end of that 5-year cycle, and we've invested just over $500,000 into the cemetery. Council's currently, we're about to start formulating economic development strategy, which will also be looking at history and heritage as an element of our competitive advantage, which I spoke about earlier. And of course, Council's support of the History Month, which we've heard about. So on behalf of the Council, I look forward to working with you all on all of the above initiatives and with the group on continuing its commitment to history through the site, and hopefully continue to encourage the understanding of local history for both current community but future generations. So thank you.
I'd now like to ask Raf, our guru, to give us a brief summation of some of the issues and problems that we did face, which we no longer face. Yeah. Thanks, Raf.
Well, that's an interesting statement, because IT is continually changing. As Darin said, the existing Now and Then site's 10 years old, and the differences in the internet in that time, you know, Facebook on a mobile phone probably wasn't thought of 10 years ago, whereas that's just commonplace nowadays. That just gives you a bit of perspective. So websites are always changing. The current layout of the gawlerhistory.com page was really David, who wasn't his, plan with the buttons. So when you go to the site, it's very easy to get into all your categories, the places, people, events, organisations and things, and then all our other links that go off to the important places that we have more information. So the some of the concepts to get you to wrap your head around. When Brian talks about the 21,000 images, they're all available on a platform called Flickr. So you can get into the Flickr page of Gawler History and just immerse yourself in those 21,000 images. And the idea behind those is that they will link back to certain articles in the wiki page. Now those articles are created by you folk, and that's really the next step in this project, is to ensure that more and more of the information, more and more of your stories come into the page. Brian's the big advocator at the moment, so he will grab people on the street and say, tell me your story. Right? And a few weeks later, usually, sometimes a bit longer than a few weeks, Brian gets an email with a story. At the moment, it's then my job with Brian to put that up on the page. There's a few, I can't show you at the moment, but there's a few very recent articles. Some of them are more joyous than others. Unfortunately, obituaries are a big thing to do with history. So there's an obituary up there recently. And I'm going to walk this way because I'm being told to. But there is so much on there. Things that I read and go, oh wow, look at this person. And very generous people with their historical articles. Now I can't remember the chap's name that we... Reg Swanson, was it? Had a book. So he's written a book. Now, usually an author wants to sell a book in a shop. Well, he's given us a digital copy of this book that he's put heart and soul into, and it's now available on the site. So you can go and look up Reg and read his book on our webpage, on your webpage. And that's probably the best thing about it, right? So remember that it is yours. We want those contributions coming in. The ups and downs on the internet, well, you know, it's up there at the moment and things happen, but we've got backups, and that was one sad event that happened while we were transitioning, is that, you know, I lost the site. It just disappeared one day. But that's technology, you know. Tim got it back for me, and I do want to acknowledge Tim's time and effort in the back end construction of the site and the migration of the database from the Now and Then site. And I'm going to stop talking. I could talk about this for ages. Anyone who has technology questions, I run a consultancy out of the Milanese and Co accounting firm on the main street. Pop in, say, is Raf here, and come and have a chat whenever you want. Or I regularly catch up with Brian, and you can always say to Brian, oh, when's Raf coming round next? And you know, you get a cup of tea from Bev, and we can talk the website and all good things technology. So enjoy the presentation by Denise. After a word from the Mayor.
Thank you, Raf. Okay, it now gives me great pleasure to introduce the Mayor and ask her to give her official launch of the site, please.
Thank you, Brian. Over here? Not here? Over there? No? Okay. Right. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. Welcome, Darin. Henry, it's lovely to see you again. I saw you today. Still here. Haven't gone home yet, but you'll eventually get home. Thank you very much for coming. It's much appreciated. Other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to launch this amazing website, wiki page, tonight, and acknowledge the work of the history team, everyone involved. Raf, your hard work and your passion for IT. My eyes were glazing a little bit about wiki and how wiki works, but I think it's brilliant, and your passion needs to be acknowledged over and over again, because without people like Raf and Brian and Paul Barnett and other people that are all involved with history in Gawler and with the development of this website, well, we wouldn't have these facilities, and we wouldn't have... I was listening to Henry's speech, and Henry list all the initiatives that Gawler Council has been involved in, and nearly every one of those Brian Tom has been involved in over the years. Brian rings me up or sends me a text or sends me an email, or all at once, I might get them. It's always something really interesting and something that we need in Gawler. And the passion of people like Brian I absolutely honour, acknowledge and love. And I don't mind getting texts and I don't mind getting emails from people like Brian Tom, because I know that it's for the benefit of this beautiful town. And this website, you know, over 5 million hits, is that right? Since inception, Brian said more than 5 million hits to this website right across the world, which is, you know, it's just an average website, isn't it? You know, but it's not. It's something special. And what that's done, 2011 till now, and now we've got a new iteration, which it's my privilege to launch this evening, really reflects the value of cultural heritage and history in Gawler. And that's what we're about. All of us in this room are passionate, aren't we? Every single person, I'm looking around and every single one of you is nodding your head. I can see you, David Tucker. I can see you. Every single one of you, and me as well, all of us together are making an amazing, we are creating a renaissance. And I've said this before, a renaissance in history in Gawler. And it is about economic development, it is about tourism, but it's also about passion and love and creating a community that we all want to live in, and our kids want to live in, and our grandkids want to live in, and generations to come. And so we invest in things like the Civic Centre, we invest in initiatives like the website, but we also invest in ourselves, and we're proud to be who we are and where we are. And so we've got to keep doing it, and we've got to keep inspiring more and more people who come into Gawler, and there's going to be a lot of people coming into Gawler once that connector's complete. Let me tell you, this is the place to be. But the character of our place is something to be absolutely thrilled and privileged to be a part of. So it's my absolute honour to launch this website. I officially launch it. I'm going to stop talking because he said to me, "You're not going to talk for very long, are you?" You know, I don't think he said it to anybody else, but he said it to me because he can, because he knows that I listen sometimes. And it is my privilege. So thank you, everyone. It is officially launched, and let's get on with this most important presentation by Dinesh Shumanoe.